News Talk 640 WFNC. What a day it has been. What a rare mood I'm in. Why, it's almost like being in love. Trevor, you look at me sometimes when I say things. Those are words to a song. What a rare mood I'm in. Why, it's almost like being in love.
Oh.
The music of life seems to be like that's like from The Music Man. That has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that I've got Dr. Lindsay Whitley standing in front of the microphone, dumbfounded as to where is this all going. How are you today, sir?
Doing well. Good to see you again.
It's good to see you. And Lindsay and I have worked for years together. When I was on Channel 5, I always would call him and say, when the phone rang and you saw me, you would say, what does he want now? What could it be?
Trying to tell a story.
Yeah. Well, It's time to tell a story. We've done some good stuff, and you guys doing remarkable stuff over there as well. One reason we want you to come in is because you've already had 3 of these meetings, strategic meetings with the community, and there's a couple more that are coming up. You got the floor. I'm getting off the picture, and tell us about it.
Yes, we're launching, or we've already launched some strategic plan meetings. We're developing what we're calling Strategic Plan 2026-2031. And really, when we think about a strategic plan, it really is, what do we want for our students? How, as a school system, do we want to support them? And so when we build a strategic plan, I think it's important for the community to understand that this is what guides our budgets. This is what guides the decisions that are made in the years to come. And so our superintendent, Dr. Bracy, has put together a steering committee, but there are several focus groups. There's an online survey, and really at this point, we're wanting input. We want input from our students, our teachers, our community members, and we're saying, what do you want from your school system? What should our school system look like over the next 5 years? What things should we launch? So it's really a very important time for individuals to engage with us so that we can have not just our strategic plan, but a community-developed strategic plan.
The thing about it, this is a period that goes through 2031. And so that's 5 years, basically a 5-year plan. And if you don't have a child in the school system, you said, the heck with it. I'm not going to be worried about it. I'm not going to go to these meetings. My kid graduated last year, so I'm done with it.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's the attitude that the community should take. I'm of the opinion that we all should be concerned about the schools because the condition of our school system accounts for a lot of things in terms of businesses deciding to come here, how the community is, or even people deciding to relocate and live in Fayetteville. So talk about that and why it's important, even if you don't have a kid in there.
Yeah, I agree. And, I know it sounds like a cliche. People say children are the future. I mean, this is our future workforce. Like you said, many businesses and organizations, as they're considering whether to bring jobs to our county, one of the first things they will look at is the quality of our school system. And so I would send that message out loud and clear, regardless of whether you have students in the school system or not. We want you to be engaged. We want your thoughts as we think about workforce development, even as we think about the jobs. Someone said something the other day. They said, we're preparing our children for jobs that don't exist yet. Think about that. So we're trying to make sure that as we're thinking about the type of school system we want in 2031, that we're the cutting edge. And so we just want to do our very best, and we can't do this work alone. And so it's really an invitation to participate. I know it's cold, so if you can't come to a focus group, go online, take that 5-minute survey, and all of the details are on the Cumberland County Schools website.
So you've had 3. Where were those 3 held?
They were held at schools across the district, and so we're hosting them at high schools across the district. And then we also have some steering committee meetings, and those are, I just want everybody to know, it's not like it's just the superintendent or just board members sitting in there making all the decisions. Right now we have a county commissioner, we have elected officials, we have folks from the military, we have parents, we even have students who are sitting on that steering committee, and they meet monthly to help look at the feedback and help guide the writing of the plan.
Okay, so you've had a couple already. I'm assuming that there's no real assessment of the data that you've collected yet. You're waiting for it all to happen before you really are able to tell us what you got?
Yes, we actually have a meeting tomorrow night with the steering committee, and what we're going to do is we're going to start looking at the themes. So what happens is we're working with a company called RTI. And they collect all of the feedback of what the students, the families, the teachers, or staff members are saying, and then they're creating themes. And so at some point, those themes will be shared with the community and the Board of Education before they are finalized. And so the good thing about it is we get to see the shape that the strategic plan is coming up with, and we get to continue to share input. And so ultimately, those will determine like the goals, the mission, the vision, and really where we're going as a school system.
It's one of these things that takes the entire village, I guess, is the concept. You've had 3 already, and I'm looking at the press release that you put out. February 4th, you'll have one at Southview High School coming up, and then February 5th, one out in my neighborhood out there near Cape Fear High School off of Old Clinton Road. So you got 2 more coming up that the public can take part in. Now, you mentioned that folks can register online. Tell me specifically what a person needs to do in order to take part. And do you have to register in order to have a speaking part?
No, we're just trying to have you register so we can make sure we have accommodations for everyone. If you go to the main Cumberland County Schools website, ccs.k12.nc.us, there's a link on that page, and you just click on register, and you select the date that you would like to attend. Both of those upcoming meetings will take place from 6 until 7 p.m., so we're going to be efficient with our time, and it's really very informal. There's a protocol that we're using to just begin once again to ask questions. What does the future, or what should the future look like for our students? And so when we get into 2026, 2027, 2028, and things are happening, sometimes after the fact, people may say, well, I wish we could do this, or what if we could have these programs in our schools? And I think my message to everyone is now is the time. If you want to have a voice, if you want to share your input, these upcoming sessions are for you. And if they don't fit your schedule, once again, there's a survey online as well that will be taken and reviewed as well, just as if you attended an in-person meeting.
Well, and I got a pretty good example of why it's important to take part and be involved with these decisions that are being made by the Board of Education, the school board, and the community and the new superintendent.
Yeah,
he's been nonstop since he's been here out in the community. Last year, sometime there was an assessment made about how can we save money? We've got deferred maintenance that has to be done. And maybe we might need to consolidate some facilities and maybe close some schools. Channel 11 just did a report yesterday. You guys haven't responded because this is not a new thing, but they've talked with people in the community and said, oh my God, the sky's falling. But I remember that this information was put out and there was a consideration. They've named the 8 schools that are being considered for closure: Brentwood Elementary, Margaret Willis Elementary, Sherwood Park Elementary, Manchester Elementary, Stedman Elementary, and Chestnut Middle, Alger B. Wilkins High School, and Ramsey Street School. The way the report made it seem like, oh my God, the sky is falling. This is not anything new. And the point I'm trying to make is, if you were involved with these meetings when talk of this was happening and the company made the recommendation, you wouldn't be surprised that this is being considered.
Yeah.
Do you get my point here?
Yeah, and that's why it's important in Cumberland County Schools that we give everyone a voice. And I think as we talk about school consolidation, we've had all throughout, as you stated, opportunities for public input, to be able to share, we've aired decision-making on YouTube, we put it on social media. But I think the important thing to consider, as you mentioned, those possible closures, those are recommendations. And so at this point, the board is considering so many different scenarios, but at the heart of what they're doing, we're trying to do what's best for our school system. And so these are uncomfortable conversations when you think about closing schools, when you think about having to consolidate schools. But I think the important thing to remember is a final decision has not been made, but once a decision is made, updates will be shared with our families and community.
Well, you make a good point that a lot of this information is available on social media. That's the good news. The bad news, social media has a mind and leg on its own, that it has the ability to leave out important elements of what's been released to just get to the oh my God, the sky is falling
Yeah.
type of report. And so when that happens, and what we call when someone doesn't vet the information
Yeah.
and get all the facts surrounding it, then it's easy to isolate the fact that the school system is considering closing. There's an awful lot that goes into that. And the county commissioners have done well this time in terms of funding the school board at the request of what you needed. And then there's the deferred maintenance that has been going on for quite some time because past boards or whatever it might be didn't provide the money that you need. So you got to make chicken soup out of
Yeah.
lemons or lemonade,
Yeah.
however it works, and you're juggling.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so now you're at a point where you've got some money. You got a report from a consultant saying this is how we can save. Was it $30 million in terms of maybe making some consolidation?
Yeah.
And the bottom line is the bottom line.
Yeah, and if you look at it, based on that independent consultant, if we fixed every school and really brought them up to the level we would like, that would take $800 million. And as of today, we don't have $800 million. We're thankful for the county commissioners who have invested and given us funding to use. And so with this external consultant, they've showed us how we can have some cost savings. There's some schools that we can possibly consolidate. But at the heart of everything we're trying to do is having modern learning institutions and facilities and schools that our students can thrive in. And so that's at the heart of what we're doing. So my comment that I want to make is these are difficult conversations when you think about some people's buy their houses based on where they want their children to attend school. And we realize and we take that very seriously. But we're really trying to do what's best for all children and how we can give every student the modern facility that they deserve.
Well, when you see a report like this, though, and you pick out a parent here, a parent there, who has a personal thing, we've got 50,000 students in the school system, which multiplies into X amount of families in the community. And you can't base the decision or the feel of the community on one or two parents who are upset.
Yeah,
I think that's in a nutshell.
Yeah.
The other part of this is what we call transparency. And I don't think by not holding these meetings, because you have held the meetings, you're asking people to come out, that there's a lack of transparency in terms of the school board. All right, look, I'm not going to beat that down anymore. I did want to ask about, when schools are closed during the week, there's this big fancy word, asynchronous.
Yeah, we had to deal with that on social media. I know folks are giving us a hard time about that. Asynchronous learning, remote learning.
Right, and talk about why that's important in terms of how many school days that we have and being able to say that we didn't miss a day because of a snow day.
Yeah, thanks to legislation, we now have the opportunity where back in the day, you might would have to make up a day or you would have to add a day at the end of the year if you had the miss for inclement weather. Well, now we have a certain amount of days that can be remote learning days, and we call them asynchronous because basically families, they don't have to log on at 8 a.m. and complete their work. During an asynchronous day, that basically means that students receive assignments either via email or they're posted to our website, and at the convenience of their own time and home and what's going on, they can complete those assignments within a set period of time. So students can still get their learning done. They can still complete assignments, but yet they don't have to come an extra day at the end of the year. So our instructors and teachers are doing a great job of, sometimes they add videos to the website, they may add YouTube videos, and then they may give assignments, and then they're available. So if a student has a question throughout the day, they can reach out or email their professor. But it's not like a synchronous where it's just like at 8 o'clock we have math, at 9 o'clock we have science. It's very flexible for families.
Yeah, I just think the name throws everybody off, and what does that mean? And, unfortunately, it probably centered around COVID time when all those computers were given out and kids have a chance to do all that type of stuff. All right, we got 1 minute to go, and I've done this report, and you've got some teachers of the year. Do we have all 3 teachers of the year moving on to the next level? Has that been confirmed yet?
Well, we have the beginning teacher of the year moving to the next level, the teacher of the year moving to the next level, and then we have our principal of the year moving to the next level. That's amazing.
Yeah, we need to get those folks in here.
Yeah, and I know Renata is working hard. And I just think for Cumberland County Schools to have teacher, beginning teacher, and principal of the year, headed toward the state to possibly be named the state winner, that's amazing.
Well, our hats off to all of them, and good luck to them as well. We're out of time. I got to give you the boot. I like to say that when I say it's time to get somebody the boot.
Well, hopefully you'll let me come back.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I think we've worked it out where the school system is going to come in every second Friday or so.
Yes.
And it's up to you what we talk about. So that's an opportunity to make sure you bring parents up to date on when you plan to close all those schools.
Yeah, we'll be transparent.
Yeah, be transparent for them. All right, Dr. Lindsay Whitley, we appreciate your time and effort.
Yes, sir.
We'll see you second week of the month.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
We'll see someone. Maybe you.
Yes, sir.
And look, I know you're getting ready to do this thing where you're inviting folks in and you're putting like a video thing together. We'll talk about that next time because that looks like it's going to be a pretty big project.
Yes, sir. What's right with Cumberland County Schools?
Yeah. All right, you're listening to News Talk 640 WFNC. We've got Fayetteville's most dependable forecast with Rachel Dunsing.
Our Wednesday is starting out cloudy, but we will have clearing skies by the afternoon with a high of 43. Overnight will be mostly clear with a low of 21, and Thursday will be mainly sunny with a high of 41. We will continue this chilly trend with high temperatures staying in the 40s, but colder air and the possibility of snow arrives this weekend. The forecast, of course, still could change in the coming days, so make sure you stay tuned for updates. That is your favorite forecast. I'm CBS 17 meteorologist Rachel Dunsing.
All right, Rachel, thank you so much. Right now we've got 28 degrees in Fayetteville, Hope Mills, and also in Pembroke. You're listening to News Talk 640 WFNC.
Have you made your New Year's resolution regarding the safety of your family and home? Now would be the perfect time